Hi everybody and welcome to Scuba Diver magazine. I'm Mark and I've been teaching people how to scuba dive for well over 10 years now. So you'll probably recognise me from the Simply Scuba channel and even my own channel Safe Diving. For this video series I'm going to be going back to the basics of scuba diving so that if you're just starting out or even if you're just feeling a little bit rusty, you can dive back in fresh in the knowledge in the scuba diving basics. If you enjoyed this video and find it useful, then don't forget to like and share it online so that your diving friends can see it as well and brush up on their skills. If you have any comments, questions, queries or even corrections at any part of the video, then let us know down in the comments below and we or even our community will help you out. So let's get into it. Hi everybody, so in today's video we're going to be taking a close look at how to change a mouthpiece on your second stage. Now this is a really easy procedure, you don't need that many tools. All you're going to need is a pair of side cutters to sort of cut the old one off, a pair of pliers, I prefer needle nose pliers but regular pliers will do, a new sort of replacement zip tie, and you're also going to need a sharp knife to tidy it up again. So the first thing that you need to know is that not all mouthpieces are the same size, so at the moment there isn't a universal mouthpiece that will fit all different brands of second stage, so it's always worth double checking what size sort of mouthpiece can fit on your second stage, because you don't want to buy one and then realize that it doesn't fit. But yeah, taking the old one off and putting a brand new one on is really easy. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so there are lots of different reasons why you want to sort of take your old mouthpiece off. It's either because it's gotten old and it's broken. A lot of the time, if you just kind of pull on your mouthpiece, just kind of like look all the way around this section here that I'm stretching, and if you see a hole kind of develop in it, that just means that a little amount of water is eventually just going to seep into that second stage, and it's just going to be an annoyance during a dive. So it's always worth looking at your mouthpiece. Other people, they tend to be biters, so they're sort of really damaging the this section of the mouthpiece, and that wears out over time. Or you might not like it, you want a slightly different one, something that's a little bit smaller or something a bit bigger or something that's form fitted. So yeah, it's always worth kind of knowing how to sort of change a mouthpiece. Getting the old one off is pretty easy. If it's one of these kind of zip ties where it's kind of cable tied in position, very easy to remove. Some of them will have a like a hinge mechanism, so you can reuse it. Obviously don't cut those off because you can reuse it, but if it looks kind of like this, then yeah, you can just cut it off. And the important thing is when you're doing this is not to sort of damage the second stage, or try not to damage the actual mouthpiece if you're going to use this for a spare. So I'm using a pair of side cutters. The way I like to do it is I kind of very loosely get underneath this main kind of block head and just kind of lift it out a little bit before applying any kind of pressure. And then when you're sort of satisfied that it's free and it's not going to cut anything apart from that cable tie, just give it a squeeze until that comes off. As you can see, there's no damage there. So discard the old mouthpiece. Now what you'll notice, if you can see that on the camera at the top, is that on this mouthpiece it physically says top on it. So mouthpieces will have a top and a bottom, so you can put it on upside down if you're not paying attention. So yeah, just take an eye and make sure that well, basically the new one that goes on is the right way up. Give that a little tug, that'll be it, and that's your old mouthpiece gone. Don't discard it if it's not damaged, because you can always use that as a spare. And this is the section that that changes size on different regulators. So depending on your regulator manufacturer, sometimes it could be a little bit bigger, sometimes it's a little bit smaller. So before you go and just buy a mouthpiece because it looks cool, just double check that it will fit your second stage. Okay, now that regulator mouthpiece is off, let's take a look at how to fit a brand new one. Okay, so now we've got the old mouthpiece off. Of course, we need to put a new mouthpiece on. Now, there's nothing wrong with the mouthpiece that I already taken off, so I'm just going to put that one back on. So, yeah. So first of all, looking at the mouthpiece, yes, you've got top written on the top, so this goes on the highest section. On the underside, you may have some numbers, you may have nothing written at all, and if there's nothing written on it at all, then chances are it's kind of ambidextrous, so it doesn't really matter which way it goes up. Now, the important thing to note is, one, that you have the right size mouthpiece, so that it does actually fit over this section of your second stage, and the second is that on the inside, you probably won't be able to see it on the camera, but there's a kind of internal ridge, and what that's going to do is it's going to latch onto this section of this, and that acts as a bit of a kind of stopper to stop it from moving around. So when you're putting it back on, just take note of which way is up, and then push it on, and then kind of push it all the way onto the second stage as far as it will go, and that kind of ridge should sort of seat itself on the inside. Now, make sure that it's nice and straight and flat, because of course it's silicone, so you can have it on at a slight odd angle. This isn't going to be any good because your second stage is going to always want to kind of twist, and that's just going to get annoying. So make sure that it's nice and straight and nice and flat. I've gone a bit too far the other way now, and there we go. So once that's in position, you'll also have a kind of a trough all the way around, and this is where your cable tie is going to go, and that's going to sort of clamp it in position and stop that mouthpiece from sort of becoming yanked off. If you don't have that that cable tie, then it's very easy for someone to sort of catch on that hose, and because you're biting down on the mouthpiece, your second stage is going to come out and your mouthpiece is going to stay in your mouth, so you think that second stage is still in, and all you're going to do is you're just going to get a mouthful of water. So it's important to sort of cable tie it. So with your cable tie, I like to sort of create a loop and then put the kind of the block, the head, this section of the cable tie down in the corner of my mouth, so it's out of the way. So I like to sort of put that in position first, pull a majority of the cable tie tight, and just kind of slowly reassess it from there. If you have this section sort of up at the top or down at the bottom, then sometimes your lips can find that during the dive. That just gets annoying, whereas if it's kind of in the corner of your mouth, it's not so much an issue. So finger tight isn't quite enough, so that's why I use a pair of pliers and I just grab hold of it and then just kind of twist it. And you hear it gets a few clicks. Once you get a few clicks, probably about 3, maybe 4, that's usually pretty tight. If you do it too much, then you can either damage the cable tie, or you can actually pinch the silicone of the mouthpiece and damage it, so you don't want to do that. The next bit is you just sort of cut that section off as close to that block as you can with your side cutters, and unfortunately that leaves a really sharp edge, and your lips are really going to find that. That's going to be very uncomfortable. So I like to sort of shave that down. Now this is the dangerous part, because you're going to be using a knife. I use a single-edged razor blade, but use anything that you're comfortable with. You have to be really, really careful so you don't cut yourself or your dive equipment. I've done this many, many times, so I'm quite confident with it. But yeah, if you're not confident, then sort of take it really slow and really easy. And all I'm doing is just sort of slicing that very edge off, so it's nice and flat. Give it a feel, make sure there are no sharp edges, and there you are, done. So of course this is much easier with a reusable cable tie. We're seeing more and more of those on new regulators. I haven't actually seen anywhere where you can buy them as a separate item, but maybe in the future we'll start seeing them on the market. But cable ties, you can get these everywhere, and there's nothing special about sort of scuba diving ones. Just sort of make sure you get one that's a sensible size, but that's it. Fitting a new regulator mouthpiece is really, really easy. Okay, so now you're a bit savvier with your scuba diving basics. Don't forget to subscribe to the Scuba Diver magazine channel to stay up to date with the latest scuba diving news and advice, and don't forget to put your comments down below in the comments. Thank you for watching, and of course, safe diving. bye.